It is I, Sananda. As a community of souls, we are taking part in a phenomenon that has never been tried in just this way before anywhere in the cosmos. You will notice how different my approach is now that I am able to talk with you about your heritage and your biological connections, the human related connections to your star brothers and sisters. 2000 years ago, I could not speak so directly about these truths. Of course, I did talk with my disciples, family, and friends about our star family. But all reference to these things were redacted from my teachings and those of my brothers and sisters who served with me. There will be no secrets about the actual contacts which have been made with others from distant planets and star systems once I return to walk with you again on their planet Earth. The contacts has been frequent in recent years, and there have been a number of cases where alien technologies were co-opted by the dark hats rather than being used for the good of all humankind, which had been the intention. There have also been contacts in the past. They are not being allowed any longer by the one you call Grace or Reptilians. It was their wish to achieve a complete takeover of the planet. Your dark hats on the ground who were influenced by them, those we have called wannabes, had the same inclination. Each faction thought they could outsmart the other to gain the upper hand. You can be assured now that their dark machinations eventually turned back on them, ensuring that no dark faction would ever attain what they imagined. They always underestimated the power of light and determination and endurance of the humans who live and work in the light. We have now overwhelmed the power structures of the dark hats who have always been inclined to turn on each other when things become difficult. This tendency alone demonstrates the greater power of the light, for we have an inborn desire, even need, to come to the aid of those who need us. The road has been long and arduous, but with each passing day by your earth clock, the way is clearer, the light workers are stronger, and the gathering force of light cannot be denied. You might call it a groundswell of love and goodwill. It is lifting the tired spirits of all, bringing comfort where there was pain, soothing traumas both physical and psychological, as people awaken and acknowledge the brand new feeling of being in love. You are in love with yourselves, your partners and neighbors, your babies and your friends. You see the aura of light around those you never noticed before as you begin to see your own. Yes, you have been tested as you plan to be. In the throes of it, it is often worse than you thought it would be in your optimistic planning stages. But this is why it was so important that your higher selves were always there to protect you and ease the pain so that you would not give up. In the end, nearly of all you cling to life with great tenacity in spite of your complaints during the hard times. No one knows this better than I. I was aware of what was coming in my life as Jesus, and still, there were moments of unbearable pain. Like you, I felt the pain of the trial as intensely as I felt the physical pain. Let it be known here that Judas did not betray me. He was my most trusted, beloved friend. He was the only one to whom I could entrust the difficult responsibility of reliving my whereabouts when the time came. There was no one else with the strength of faith and loyalty to me whom I knew could accomplish it without a moment's hesitation or any residue of regret. Even though most of those who turned against me in the end were not close to me, I still lives a deep feeling of abandonment to see fellow humans support an attack on one of their own species. Any child who has been teased by a crowd at school or who has been disowned by their family for some ideological infraction has felt this deep sense of horror and despair. Why do we turn against our own? This is our work now, dear ones. We must pull together, healing the division and duality which has pitted one human against another, in order to ensure that this time, in the transition to the new golden era, no one will turn against his fellows to persecute, judge, or condemn anyone. The days of religious wars, wars of ideology based in hatred of others, and wars of creed will no longer be permitted. War itself is never justifiable when people acknowledge they are stronger working together than they are in opposition. You have been so steeped in the thinking of luck, competition, and fear that it's no longer obvious to you that most, perhaps all the wars on the planet were deliberately instigated to profit the ones in power, and especially the ones behind the ones in power. It was not difficult for those in power to foment discord among populations that were already oppressed, angry, and hungry. It is an old trick to set an arson's fire in order to be the one to rush into heroically put it out, gaining fame, fortune, and allies in the process. All these truths will be revealed at last. You will learn the true history of your planet, and when you do, your hearts will swell with love for your fellow sufferers and relief that you suspected all was not what it appeared. When you understand who truly benefited from your prejudice, your mistrust of others, and your religious conflicts, you will find it much easier to let go of the convictions which were implanted in your unsuspecting child brains without your permission. There is no inherent human quality, suspicion, or hatred of those who appear to be superficially a bit different from oneself. Notice how dogs of all breeds naturally approach each other with tail wagging, how birds of all species flock together, and how easily one family of elephants, or bears, or geese will mingle and even assist one another, when their territories are not restricted in such a way as to create want. It was not a difficult leap of intuition for leaders to understand that all they needed to do to control the flock was to limit their resources and inform them that it was the immigrants, the Jews, the women, the blacks, the Armenians, or the Shiites who were to blame. Yes, you have been the targets of massive mind and social control experiments. For a time, it was somewhat successful, but always there have been some who saw through the schemes and agitated for liberty, fairness, and equality. I was one of those people, and you were too. You are not alone. Your numbers are growing by the day as the mass media loses its grip to the wide open possibilities of communicating the truth across political and social boundaries through the internet. While the open forum of the internet invites fear mongering and fraud, it is less controlled and therefore a better source for truth than any of the mass media stations you have now, which have become propaganda machines for the corporations who paid their bills. It cannot be otherwise. Whenever money enters the mix, there is the opportunity for a misuse of power. Now, let us address a current question in many of your minds. What is ascension, and when, if ever, will it occur? Most of you are familiar with the story of my resurrection. Was the example we wish to give you of what ascension is. If there are those who doubt there is an afterlife, I can assure you, it is not an afterlife. It is life eternal. Each person finishes this present incarnation by going to the light to resume the life as a soul in a light body, which is what you might think of as your normal state, since this sojourn on earth is just a short space in your life as a soul. This time, you will not only travel to the fifth dimension, but you will be able to do so without the death of the body you are currently inhabiting, as was done in the past. This time, you have the option to take this body with you and to be completely healed and restored to a healthy body. You will have the ability to make changes in the appearance, size, shape, and possibly even gender of the body you will retain once you have moved to the fifth dimensions. This may sound like magic to you, but of course magic by your standards does happen in higher dimensions because creation occurs with the combination of thought and feeling, not through the manipulation of material substances with your hands, as you know it here. This is the world you can look forward to. It is the promised land which has been foretold in your ancient texts, but it is better by far than anything we can put into words for you here. The fifth dimensional world in your future truly is the place where the lion lies down with the lamb, because all creatures, human and otherwise, will be sustained with a diet of vegetable and fruit matter, and none will need or want to consume their brothers and sisters. Weather changes will make possible a planet completely covered with lush vegetation, plentiful gardens, and people and animals who are free to express the fulfillment of their souls without concern for things like money, hunger, war, or physical danger. Communication will be telepathic, immediate, and perfectly understood, and transportation over long distances will be accomplished by individual or community spacecraft. This is not a science fiction dream. It is the current reality on many other planets in the cosmos. This is more. Your star brothers and sisters are circling your planet now in August of 2013 to bring you their technologies, their knowledge, and their help in fulfilling the dream of ascension all the cosmos awaits. You are so loved, so respected, and admired throughout the multiverse that all eyes are turned to observe your wondrous progress in raising your vibration so that you can make the leap into the world which awaits you. In this and future messages, I will encourage you to focus your energies on making the strong connection between the emotional centers in your brain and your heart. This is the organization of soul which allows you to live in pure love with your deep connection to Source, to me, and to your higher self, which is the part of your soul which remain in higher dimension at one with God. You are the creator race made in the likeness of your creator. This does not mean you are completely identical to the creator. It means that in your progress toward enlightenment, literally embodying light, you you grow ever closer to the perfection of one. We are all moving toward the glorious finale, the becoming one with our Creator. In the course of your growth, you have come closer to us, more able to hear us speak to you in your dreams, in your moments of reverie, and now through these messages. It has speeded the trajectory of your progress, and it now makes it possible for us to reach everyone on the planet. Awaken, dear ones. Put down your instrument of slavery to your jobs. Look around you at the beauty you have missed in the eyes of children, in the glowing sunsets and the sparkling dawns. Your Mother Earth is cleansing herself. You are being protected from all nuclear dangers and toxic pollutions. The era of the distractions of the planet and of the slavery of all humankind is now over. There will be no more wars, no more mass genocides or catastrophic loss of life. As long as you continue to ascend with your dear planet, she has already left the realm of death. To reborn, to be reborn and renewed, she is pacing her transition to continue to help you, to sustain and provide for you. Begin with the knowledge that all living things are conscious beings. Every animal, vegetable, and mineral is made up of the consciousness of Creator. You, as part of the creation of all things, have a living relationship to all those conscious beings around you and throughout the cosmos, whether you acknowledge it or not. Mother Earth is filled with love for her children, just as we are. Mother, Father, God stand with you in love and light to urge you forward in the most exhilarating, triumphant rite of passage ever known. No soul will be left behind. No child of God will be ignored or passed over. Each and every one has worth, and all are honored equally. Arise, children of earth. It is truly time to meet your makers, and you will be delighted to learn how loving, compassionate, forgiving, and good-humored they are. You can listen to Mother Father God speaking to listeners and to each other on the historic radio recording, which you will find on www.blogtalkradio.com, Hollow Earth Network. The archive is available to all under the date August 10, 2013. You will be amazed and delighted to join in the conversation. We wish to know you, to speak with you, and to listen to your voice in the company of your loving brothers and sisters in spirit, the family of your hearts. I will join you on these calls as well. Until the next time, I am your Sananda, the one you have known as Jesus.